So Yaja, welcome to the virtual stage. It's so wonderful to have you here. And so Yaja, just a little bit about Yaja first, a bit of a background there. So Yaja is a founder and principal of Empowering Leaders Speakers and the creator of Empowering Leaders Events. What that means is that had Yaja not founded this space, we would not be here today at the Empowering Leaders Summit. So thank you for that. With over 40 years experience, Yaja's worked across multiple industries, and she's developed strengths in leading, planning and delivering, and these have also become her passion. And so her topic today is on creating online events that engage and empower, and certainly has done that today. So a huge thank you to you for creating the space, Yaja, and this opportunity for our guest speakers and our audience to come together and learn and grow, I suppose, as a network. So first and foremost, if you wouldn't mind sharing, what prompted you to start Empowering Leaders, Speakers and Events?
It's an interesting thing that I would like to mention, which was it's one of those coincidences or out of the blue, just lucky, who knows. I would say it was meant to be. Back at the start of COVID, when it first started here in Australia, especially, I think it was about middle of March, we had, I was noticing that there were a number of people who I knew who were speakers or facilitators. They ran workshops, but everyone was pretty solitary. And so I had this thought to bring a number of people, and at that time we had 7 or 8 of us, I think, brought them together into a forum such as this. But it was a full day. It was a full day at the time. And it was a beautiful process, actually, where we each contributed to meetings and really unraveling this whole process of this event. And as a result, throughout it, you and I had conversations as well, and we could see there were possibilities that this could go to other places. So that's pretty much, in a nutshell, how it eventuated. And I've been really loving the journey, been learning lots of things, unlearning lots of things, and relearning stuff as well. And really am looking forward to seeing where it's going to move towards.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I love how you said unlearning, because sometimes I guess it's those resourceful habits or habitual thinking that we get into may not necessarily serve us moving forward. And so to be able to have this awareness that you need to shift some of the stuff and perhaps change some of your different ways of thinking is so key for us all to learn and have awareness. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So wonderful. That's so great that, you created this from all of that, which I think it's quick thinking and innovative thinking and inductive thinking, to say the least.
Yes.
So why does it matter to you then?
For many, thank you. I love the question. It matters. It's interesting because for many, many years, I had been involved with running events, and it was not as a professional event planner or manager. It just happened to be that I was in certain roles and certain situations where it was something I was very drawn to. I've always had a passion for, I suppose, the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I had an opportunity, and the stage means many things to me. So anytime I had the opportunity of organizing events for different organizations that I was a part of, or companies that I was a part of, including meetings even, I would do whatever I could to be involved. And so I learned different technical aspects, technology that was needed at the time. And that started way back in the late 80s, I think, and early 90s. And I've been involved with not only the organizing of it, but also delivering of the many of the different programs as well over the years. And I've learned lots of things and had to unlearn a lot of those things as well, in terms of delivery, in terms of organization, structure, etc. Communication was really crucial, of course. So why it matters to me is, well, it is a passion for me. It is something that I've really appreciated, and I love quality. So I do what I can to make sure whatever I organize is of really great quality, where people can get a lot of benefit and value from it. I've learned one of the biggest lessons I've had to unlearn, and that is perfection.
Yes.
Because inevitably, especially with events, and we know with technology, there is no such thing as perfection. What I aim for, and I'm still learning many of those different aspects of what I aim for, is to help people create the audience to have a really great experience in whatever way we can. And of course, here we are, we're in a virtual environment where our audience is not connecting even face to face, let alone body to body in an actual room. So for me, it matters that whatever I can do with together with the speakers and yourself as the facilitator and doubling up as the speaker, to be able to help create an experience that's going to be one that's filled with a lot of learning, a lot of serving, a lot of engagement to whatever extent. And of course, we're all very different. Some of us actually literally will physically engage by typing. Some of us engage by simply being present. And I think that's really important, that we acknowledge those people who are really present and absorbing as much as they can. And yeah, it's all about empowerment in the end, because to me, empowerment is very much, and that's what this matters to me. Empowerment is that people are able to take what they have learned and put it into action.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Yaja. And it's interesting how, and a couple of comments in the chat, Beck shares that, and Beck, you're so welcome. She says, thank you, Yaja and Alex, for creating this amazing space. And we're absolutely grateful to you too, Beck, for being here and supporting us and being part of the team. We couldn't have done it without you, and still can't do it without you. But Beck also shares that, wow, that was back in the olden days of tech, BM, before mobiles.
Yeah.
And this is really significant point you make there, Beck, and I love it because
oh my God.
Because Yaja, even I just want to take
we had overhead projectors. Sorry for anyone who remembers overhead projectors.
So the thing is, with technology, you having come such a long way, a bit like, my kids say, Mum, before the MCG was born back in your day, but it's, you've come back such a long way, and you've probably seen, and because you do this so beautifully, Yaja, when it comes to the technology side of it, and because you and I have worked together with the summit, you have, and even prior to that, in what you were doing before, you have so much experience and so much knowledge, I guess, coming from your background, and you would have noticed that some stuff are just no longer working. And this is where you are aware enough and are cool with unlearning it. And some people don't know how to do that. Yeah. So it's really important to be cool with unlearning stuff that no longer serves us, and that's able to give us results even quicker.
Completely.
That's where it comes to your thing where you were talking about perfection. Just to ditch that, that just doesn't work. So thank you for sharing that. Now, yes, we've got some after
OHP. Yes.
Awesome flexibility. Totally awesome flexibility indeed. I have to agree. Thanks for that, Yaja, for sharing all that. And so I guess in terms of, and that's a little bit of your hero's journey right there, would you agree?
Absolutely.
Step by step, and here you are. Yes. And suddenly now you've created this space for you and for everyone else to be able to enjoy. So with, the empowering leaders, what is your ultimate vision then? Like, do you have an ultimate vision moving forward?
I have the vision that I, I can see that the purpose behind, in many ways, the purpose behind this Empowering Leaders Summit is very much about providing a platform for current leaders, future leaders, and each of us as individuals leading ourselves to learn and to be empowered to take, again, this whole thing about taking action, because I think some of the things that hold us back from taking action is that, especially with educational events, they can be inspiring. Many of them are not empowering. So it's going to be a work in progress, of course, for all of us as we learn. But I think the whole thing of empowering people means that we become leaders of ourselves. Something I learned many, many years ago about self-management, and that was someone that Stephen Berkeley would be familiar with. Self-management is something that is or self-leadership, I should say, actually. Self-leadership is really crucial to becoming a good leader. You can't be a good leader unless you're a self-leader. And empowerment, yeah, and being empowered means that you are able to take the action that's necessary to be the leader that you are meant to be for yourself, let alone for others.
Yeah, well said.
I like to think that the speakers that we're inviting are the ones who demonstrate this. They're the ones who have the experience, the skills, the knowledge, the inspiration, the personal modeling of what it takes to be a self-leader. And really, if we just focused on self-leadership, then we would be considered as a great leader, because it's natural that one will lead to the next.
Yeah, some great points there, Yaja, and I love that you've got standards, and I think that's really key, because you just, it's about creating that space where you do. It's a bit like what Carol said, we sort of start to bring in people who are like-minded.
Yes.
And I think that's so key and so relevant here as well.
Absolutely.
One thing you shared earlier, and it's sort of, I've written it down because I'm curious, and perhaps our leaders are, our viewers and our listeners are, around, you said that so as an empowering leader, who invented and founded this beautiful space for speakers, you mentioned that you have different meanings, like you give different meanings to the word stage. That's a pretty, that's a very interesting point you make there. And so do you mind sharing a little bit of that?
Yeah, great. Yeah, love it. Love it. I could talk about the different stages, and you were talking about the hero's journey. My experiences of the stage started when I was a kid, even play acting and playing shop and playing all sorts of things. And then as I was a teenager, I was part of a folk singing and dancing group, and we would be in all sorts of different performances that way. And of course, then we get into, as I became the adult, I was an instructor in the Army Reserve. And then, of course, I started all these different events, workshops, etc., and it goes on. But the thing is, I love, what is it that Shakespeare says? All the world is a stage and we are the actors. So really, even this whole thing of, we're providing a stage here, a platform for many different speakers who are experts in their area of leadership to come here onto this stage. The thing is, they're on their own stages in their own lives, and we're each actually we're all performers, we're all the actors performing in our own stages, in our own theatrical productions, in a sense. So I just love the fact that we're simply providing tools for people who come here, human beings, to become the best possible real performer in their lives. And so, yeah, whether that answers your question or not, I don't know, but I do believe that, and something that we've had discussions in the past too, how, you know, a leader will demonstrate who they are both professionally in public as well as when they're not being seen, so in their private life. So the best actor performer is one who actually is going to be able to provide the real experiences, whether they're on stage or whether they're behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, great point. It brings us back to the topic of Stephen, you know, where it comes to a topic of values that Stephen sort of raised earlier. And when we're in alignment and we're absolutely clear of ourselves and who we are and what we stand for and what's important to us, it just becomes so easy. Like it's almost like there's no pressure to prove anything to anyone because you've got this, you're walking a talk,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. Don't have to pretend.
Yeah, that's it. You know, you ditch the lies, you ditch the acting, because really that's who you are off or on stage. You
Yes.
know, I don't know about you, but my kids sort of say to me, Mum, you've got no filter whether you're on stage or off stage. Well, I don't, because this is who I am. And
Yeah.
I think, you know, I love what you said, that in that we bring, and, you know, you bring speakers to your bureau, to your space here, who are authentic, who are,
Yes.
you know, who are living your values as well, you
Yeah.
know, because I mean,
Yeah.
you have a set of values that you
Yeah.
bring, set of standards and expectations and attitudes, even, because that's so important.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you know, it's bringing together, and you attract, and people, you know, sort of tend to gravitate towards different businesses, I guess,
Yeah,
because,
exactly. 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 I
yeah.
completely agree with you. I love
That's
that.
wonderful. Thanks. So, you know, we've got a few minutes to go, Yaja, and I'm really curious, you know, and a lot of people too, I guess, would be asking, so what's the difference? Like, you know, there's Empowering Leaders Summit, and Empowering Leaders Bureau, and all in which, because I know that you offer some programs too, I
Yeah.
suppose, and what makes you so different? Like what makes you sort of stand out from the rest?
Yeah. Thanks, Alex. I love that. Well, firstly, primarily we do things online. And so ours is our stage is primarily an online stage, at least at this point in time. Secondly, what makes us stand out is that we're very much about leadership. And for example, speakers bureaus that there are in place currently that have been in existence for some time, they focus on multiple different areas. So whether it's leadership, business, sales, entertainment, celebrities, inspirational, motivational, you name it, hundreds of other different things are basically part of their business. My business is just about leadership. And it's been wonderful in the sense that it's been helping me reflect on myself, and again, what kind of an example, what kind of a model am I to my clients? Because again, you know, I want to draw people who are interested, not just interested, but they're demonstrating their ability to lead, as a reflection of the kind of person I am as well, the kind of leader I am.
You and your team, I'm guessing, because
Abs-
obviously, you know, you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone that's involved with this business, with this organization, are incredibly passionate. They're beautiful communicators and speakers themselves. And that's the other thing. We're already experienced in being a speaker. We're experienced with running events and being parts of events. Um, the other thing that is really, really important is that we are not aiming to be big in the sense of having large numbers. So we are really dedicated to individuals who are part of, so when they become speakers, they are really given personalized attention. So we make sure that we go out and find clients for them. We'll connect with clients and see what it is that they need, who do they need, and make sure that we can connect with an appropriate speaker and or facilitator if need be to
So
meet
what
them.
I'm what I'm hearing there, Yaja, is that there's a match. So you're not just people aren't just grabbing any speaker hoping for the best and
Absolutely.
thinking, oh wow, they didn't actually hit the
Yes,
target.
exactly.
Quite the opposite, I'm guessing, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're going out there and you're actually asking the appropriate, the relevant questions to be able
Yes.
to extract the information you need so that you've got, so the square fits in the square hole, not in the circle.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because at the moment, with many, and again, I'm not saying all or every or anything like that, but generally speaking, what happens is a client would come to a speakers bureau. There is a library, a plethora of speakers. And generally speaking, they would go for either the celebrity, the public profile person. They would go for someone who is a known person, and they really don't know what they're looking for. They don't even know if this is the sort of person that's going to make a difference for the outcome of their people. Because we've been talking about values, we've been talking about culture, we've been talking about diversity, we've been talking about communication. And if we bring in someone who knows nothing about any of these, doesn't know what it means to be a cultural fit, doesn't have integrity, doesn't have that ability to connect with people, then we're doing a disservice to the people of our organization. So it's pointless. So we want to make sure that we have people who are going to be a great match so that the outcome that they want is going to be achieved and more.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, that makes
I'm really
absolute.
passionate about that. I really,
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice
really,
and I
really
can
love
see it
that.
in your physiology. Absolutely. And, you know, it's really important too. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've been to events where we've had, you know, some incredible speakers and, but we've also had some speakers which have,
Yes.
we've, you
Yeah.
know, walked away thinking, why,
Yeah. Why?
why?
Why did I bother?
I don't get
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to have the question mark above your head, like why did I
Yeah.
go there? I don't get that. Like there was no relevance or no connection or there was no
No.
alignment.
Yeah.
And this is where I think it's incredible too that you do the work back, you know, in the back end of it all, where you make sure that and I guess with your experience too, with profiling and all of that,
Mm.
and your ability to extract the information from them, that you're able to then get a great fit for organisations. And it could be that you have speakers, I guess, that go into organisations that speak on business, that speak on
Yeah.
culture, that perhaps even run workshops, facilitate
Yeah.
all of that. So they've
Yeah.
got all of that. Mm,
And still it's all connected to leadership ultimately.
totally,
Yeah, completely,
absolutely,
completely.
yeah,
And you know, and it's interesting because you know the events that I create, or you know, that you and I have been very much involved with, and others who have been part of this, the Empowering Leaders Summit. You know, we know how important it is, how our mindset is tuned in, how we're tuned in to our speakers, and you know what it's been like. This you know, all these events that we've been focusing on, we don't just talk about what we're going to do. We, in fact, rarely discuss about what we're going to do on the day. We focus a lot on mindset, on engagement, on how to build this team, and really focusing on the fundamentals. And so, for example, I've got this workshop coming up. Like tomorrow, there's an introduction to um, uh, an empowering events program that I run, and you know, in that, you know, it's interesting because I've had people say, well, what do you actually do? What do I do to run an empowering event? What do I do? The thing is, in order to get to the do, for the do to happen naturally and automatically, you've got to focus on developing a really strong foundation of building culture, building people who are there to support you, building structures that actually are going to support the whole process so that if anything goes wrong, you can work things out. So
yep.
there's just so many different things that we can actually look at before we actually get into the doing side of things. Otherwise, it becomes like what Carol was talking about. We start trying to move away from pain and, you know, going straight into our head rather than, you know, recognizing that we can actually be experiencing having a joyful experience as we create this event, as we manage an event, as we, bring in people, as we, really develop quality rather than about quantity.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there. I think you've hit a few nails on the head there, actually. And I think that's been the underlying focus and point through this whole summit today from all speakers, all the guest speakers that have come on, is that, even like Jeffrey was mentioning leadership, and Stephen around values, and Carol as well about the mindset. And at the end of the day, that is, we're all so conditioned to do. We sort of forget about hang on, who are we being?
Yes.
It's really about bringing that
Yes.
to be able to create. And just a couple of comments, and you can probably see them, Yaja, too, is that, Rebecca's made some amazing comments, as has Carol, in that, quality over quantity, absolutely. And Beck was saying that, dedicated to individuals representing, personal attention, and about genuinely matching speakers who do have the real experience, not the ones who, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being out there and having great, you're a big public figure,
inspirational
and awesome.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, it's what you want to get out. What's the result that you're wanting, and work backwards, reverse engineer. So what is it you want to get out of it?
Yeah.
And who are you going to fit so you can get your results?
So that the results then are ongoing, not just at that time. And that's been my experience. Again, I've been going to training programs since my early 20s as an adult, and I know what it's like, very much so. And I think, and I've had a very critical eye, if you want to call it that, where I've attended, been inspired, and then almost immediately after leaving, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like I need to go and do it again. And training or events should not be like that. They should be such where we feel, yes, we've got this, we've got something to walk away with and something to do with,
Awesome.
something to act on.